In this lesson, we'll get familiar with the RStudio environment. And on launching RStudio, you should have these three windows, panels, or panes, however you choose to call them. And these are the windows. This is another one, and this is the last one. But as you work with RStudio the more over time, you are going to have four. And to get the fourth one, you need the plus sign here and add script. So this is the fourth window or the fourth pane. And each window is having the minimize and the maximize button to enlarge and also to hide their window. For example, we could hide this and we could hide this if we choose. And this makes it really nice to work with RStudio as you can focus on the particular part of the windows, maybe your code and the results. It's a feature that I use a lot. But I'm going to pop this back up. I'm going to show you some simple settings first before I explain what each of these windows do and the function that they serve. The first thing is going to tools, and this is one of the very first thing that I do whenever I install RStudio on any new device or I access it on any other platform. I go to tools, then I go to global options, and because of the amount of light that I'm getting from this white screen, I go to appearance first, change it to another theme. I'll go with the tomorrow night bright, then I'll apply. There are also some other little tweaks that you need to do to get the best. Also, you could go to general and we are going to uncheck some things here. Number one is restore.r data into workspace at startup. The thing is, we do not want to save our data, so we uncheck this, and also we set save workspace to our data on exit as never. Then if you like a bit more customization, you can still go to code and you can use this. You can check this. It's already checked here. Use native pipe operator. It requires R.1 plus. Then you apply this. Then okay, this is the simple customization. You'll likely see this screen as we proceed more rather than the white theme screen. So to move on, we have four windows here. And the things about these windows is they are still customizable. We can arrange them however we like. And to do that, we also go back to global option, and now we go to pane layout. And I like to have my console here. So I code on the source and I see the results on the console. Then we have the environment down here and the files down here. Now I'm going to tell us the function of each of this pane or window. The first that I'll start with is the console. And the console is where you get the output of your results and where you also write your code and just run quick results. But it does not only houses the console, it also houses the terminal and also the background jobs. And background jobs serve a unique purpose where you can run another script or another process without interrupting the current one which you are doing. It's super useful. And also if you are rendering a particular job like creating a document, a PDF document, which is something you can do with R, or you are creating a presentation slide or a website, which is also something that you can do on RStudio. Most of the times, the process of compiling all these documents is usually shown also in the background jobs. Then we have the terminal. This is where you interact with your system, where you interact with your computer, and it's usually having the same interface as the default terminal or Windows PowerShell that you have. It's having the same privileges. The next is console. And as I said earlier, console is where you have your results. For example, a simple calculation could be 2 plus 2. And this is where you see the result. Then now to source. So what is the function of the source? The source pane is very important. The source is the place where we edit our scripts. R is just a simple text file with the .r extension. Now if we click on this button, you'll see that we have different options, and each of these are usually displayed on the source pane, so we can edit and write on them, and anything I write on this part is displayed here. That's if it's a code, if it's a line of code that needs to be executed, it is displayed here. And this is what makes RStudio powerful. This is where you can write your codes, run your analysis, and also save it. Then you package it and send it to someone else, and they can do exactly the same thing as you've done without stress, given that it is packaged properly. Then on this source pane also, we can also see data, and for now we won't see that, but as we move along in the course, we are going to see that yes, we can review our data. Next is the environment pane, and the environment pane is having different windows. The environment is where we see our variables. History is where we see all the codes that we've run, and these are some of the code that I've run in this session. Then we have connections. This is to connect to external databases. Then we have JIT. You won't likely get this JIT window, and that's because your particular folder is not a JIT folder. But we'll cover this in part 2 of this course, so you should watch out for that. But do not stress about that. That will be covered later. Next is tutorial. So you can click here, install it, and also learn along by yourself in your own time, which I think is a really nice feature. So you can learn R within RStudio by coming to the tutorial window here. Then also we in environment, what environment does is it stores our variables, and variables are like containers or labels that hold our values. So for example, I could say name, then I save this as Michael. Once I press enter, we see that this is populated. It shows values, and this is in list option. If I change it to grid, it will show name, the type of data, it will also show the length, the size, and the value of the data. So this is a nice feature, and this is where you can also manage some of the objects that you have in your environment. For example, you can decide to just clear it all, and you use this broomstick and you clear it all. Then lastly, we have the file pane, and the file pane is like your file explorer, the default file explorer that you have, only that is having a different GUI or graphical user interface. And here I have home, I have my document, then the organization's name, the course, then another folder. So you can interact with your files here. You can also open some data here, and once you open the data, it's going to display here. Also, I have readme.md here. This is a markdown document, which is also something we'll cover along in some other parts of the course, likely part 3 or part 4 of the course. Yeah, then also we have the plots. This is where all our visualizations are displayed. Then we have packages, and packages are like powerful extensions which help us extend the capabilities of R, and they are really nice. We are going to cover that during this course, so we'll get back to that later. Then we have help. Oftentimes we get stuck once we are using a particular function, you are using a particular package, or we just need help in general. This is a good place to come to, and oftentimes you can access the help by using the help function. Then you type in the name of the particular function that you need help with. For example, I can type in main, then I need help with main, then I have this here. And main is to what? Is to get the average or the arithmetic mean. Next we have viewer, and viewer is used to just take viewer like your browser. This is what displays your document. For example, it can display your PDF document. It can also display your website if you are building a website with how. Then we have presentation, and this is for slide. So these are all the things that we have within the RStudio windows, but there's more to this because we have some other options here, including in the file where we can create new files, and it's the same as the options that we have with this plus button. And also you can move to recent files, also import data sets, and go to previous projects as you choose. Also we have edit, and we have code. Oftentimes some of the things that you have in this menu are things that you can do with your keyboard with shortcuts, but they are there to actually help you. And the code menu is actually having some handy features that also you can check on your own time. But that is all for now. I'm not going to overload you with more, so now you can take a break, and we'll come back to operators in R, where we'll see how to use R as a basic calculator. See you in the next lesson.